And hello, uh, my speech is about racism in the school, offense, classes, and anti-racism. First of all, we have in mind that racism is not a just a is not just a offense or cursing. Yes, racism is a extraordinary thing of society and it's generated from ideas of race and racial support of white people through pseudoscience, showing this to exclude and erase the identify of a specific people of the country. In in our case, is a black and indigenous people through institutions, institutions, and cultural reproduction. These scientists have existed in Brazil, and with this in mind, we can identify that these ideas were rooted in society. Having as one of these consequences racism also in school, and has a and as I made clear that racism is not a just simple offense. We should see it as a something that manifests in different ways. And in the school, we can see very well some of its consequences. We we must understand that we have three types of racism, according Dr. and Professor Silvio Almeida. We have institutional racism, extraterritorial racism, individual racism. The three types of racisms, it's connected. You know. Um, Now I I show some statistics about racism because exclusion also interferes with access to education for black people, given that in Brazil, for example, in 2015, according to the National Household Sample Survey, PND or IBGE, 30% of the black population did not complete primary school before the age of 16, while in 2014, at 16, 82% of the white students finished primary school, and among those aged 15 to 17. In the case of racial insult of black people highlight racism in our society because according to the Secretary of Security and the State of São Paulo, uh, these are cases of racial insult every 5 days in public and private schools of all levels. Uh, how racism is manifested in the school. Uh, in Brazil, we live by influence of Eurocentrism, and in school, we don't study African and indigenous culture of our native peoples, and when it's studied, it's stereotyped, and don't study all real consequences of slavery and fake science imposed by eugenicist scientists. And a story is always told from the European point of view, and also no ways are shown to combat racism, which is not only say don't be racist, and don't show how racism is reflected in whole society. In the song Pedagoginga of uh, written by Kanti, El Nino e another rapper, uh, they explain through the music how the school exclude the black culture. For example, in this phrase, eu não quero mais estudar na escola que não conta a minha história, na verdade me mata por dentro. In the true human inside. Para mim, contar que o preto não tem vez e o que o hip hop fez veio me dizer o contrário. As escolas sempre reforçaram que eu era feia. O hip hop veio e disse tu é bonito pra. In conclusion, we must have a school anti-colonialist and anti-racist. É. We must have a liberation school in liberation education. Liberty education.